Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Margaret. It's an honor to stand up here on behalf of Partnership with Children. I'm Marcus Pass from Brooklyn, New York. Where else? I was born and raised in Bed-Stuy before gentrification, and back then it was a tough neighborhood. Just like almost every Brooklyn boy, I wanted to go to the NBA or be a rapper. And that's probably because basketball players and musicians were the only people we saw in positions of power that actually looked like us. So those were our only role models. My two brothers and I grew up without a father, raised by a single mother. Hi, Mom. I love you. That's not a part of the speech. My mother worked as a school safety agent at PS40 in Brooklyn. She struggled like most single mothers, and we moved around a lot. When I turned 13, my mother was like, boy, you gotta help out around this house, and brought me to volunteer at her job. She said, if you make yourself useful, when they're ready to hire someone, they'll hire you. And they did. My first paying job was helping kids with homework at the after-school program. What started out as a way to help my mom became a way of life. I worked as a tutor, a sports coach, a music instructor, and eventually I worked my way all the way up to the assistant director. That's when the director position became available at PS 165. What's up, Mr. Rivers? Let's get it. In Brownsville. In Brownsville. Never ran, never will. For those of you who don't know, Brownsville is still Brownsville. It's like a time capsule of old school Brooklyn. There are certain streets you still don't walk down unless you're from there. That's the environment these kids are growing up in every single day. I loved working with youth, but working in after-school programs meant that I only had a brief glance into my students' lives. And I couldn't make the lasting impact that so many of the kids really needed. 3 hours of interaction a day just wasn't enough. I know it seems crazy, but it's true. In 2018, the principal told me that a position as a community school director was available in his building, and he thought I would be a great candidate. I went for it, and I got it. Hey, Meredith. And here I am working for Partnership with Children. We serve around 225 kids ranging from 3K to 5th grade. The average family in Brownsville before the pandemic made under $32,000 a year, and COVID made it worse. Some of our students are homeless and move from place to place. Many come from broken homes without enough money to go around. All the same situations and circumstances I experienced growing up. It's a perfect storm that makes it hard for kids to come to school, let alone learn. I look like these kids. I talk like them. I've lived the struggles they're facing. So when these kids and families see me, there's a connection you can't fake. That's trust, and that makes everything easier. When you're struggling, that's not an easy thing to admit, even when resources are readily available. So I learned the trick. If you're there when things are going good, you just might be the person they go to when things are going bad. You have to talk to people all the time, not just in a crisis. That's how family works. My role is to always be there to lend a helping hand. I'm asking questions like, did you get enough to eat yesterday? Does your mom need a Metro card to get to work? Are you out of laundry? Do you need a hug? I mean, a fist bump, because, you know, we can't hug anymore, it's COVID. Our success is about relationships, plain and simple. It affects the energy in the whole building, the student attendance, performance, and family engagement. We're a school too, though, so of course we're concerned with learning. But I get to be really focused on the community to make sure, first and foremost, these kids and families have the foundation to be able to show up ready to learn. Because after we get what they need, then we can work on talking about everything else. The beauty of Partnership with Children is that we've got a social worker on site. Hey, Hannah's here. Hi, Hannah. We have a social worker on site, and we partner to address everything going on outside and inside. We've proven again and again that schools are some of the very best places to deliver these mental health services. Robin Hood provides the funding for us to do what is needed without all the red tape. At the height of the pandemic, the infection rate in Brownsville was more than twice the city average. So our kids were experiencing very real instability and in many cases, heavy losses. Robin Hood made it possible to remain a safe haven for our kids, a place they could go for 8 hours a day where they wouldn't have to worry about verbal, physical abuse, or hunger. We sent out weekly surveys to families and used texts, phone calls, and home visits to understand the challenges our families were facing. We noticed that food was a huge issue, so I helped launch a food pantry out of our auditorium. And I knew that going to a pantry can be tough, right? You feel like you're being rushed in, and without much choice, you just get the bag and they're like, get out of here. I didn't like that for my people. So I decided to put a spin on it. We bought food wholesale, created a menu of options for parents to pick from, and packed custom bags that our family could pick up shame-free and actually got what they wanted and needed. Partnership with Children is about making sure families feel seen and understood. They do the same thing for their staff. It's nothing fancy. They just make me feel like I'm important. They show up for me. There are a lot of things I love about PS 165 and Partnership with Children, but you heard Margaret. They understand that relationship is everything. That's the glue, that's the gas. Knowing they have my back has given me the opportunity to be the me I wish I had growing up, kind of like a role model. But the truth is, every single day, these families inspire me. I've got parents who can't read, working multiple jobs, and they still bring their kids to school every single day, hoping for better opportunities than they currently have. Living in Brownsville requires the strength and resilience to get up every morning and keep going, even when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It takes courage to hope for the kind of success you haven't seen in generations that came before you, that you haven't even experienced yourself. If you ask me what I want for these kids, I want more. I want them to get everything they need and the things that they want too. I don't want to just give them the bare necessities. I want them to thrive, to be able to do the same things that other families and other kids in other neighborhoods do. Thank you for investing in that hope and for ensuring organizations like Partnership with Children are there day in and day out to build a foundation for their success.